It's my privilege today, ladies and gentlemen, to be with you all in this faculty development program on cognizance and formulation of core values in higher education, organized by Internal Quality Assurance Cell of APA College for Women, Palani. Ladies and gentlemen, my today's presentation relates to the topic promotion of quality in teaching, learning, and evaluation. So to start with, at the very outset, we must have an overview of India's higher education scenario. This is the third largest in the world next to USA and China. There is a fast expansion in the last 70 years in the higher education sector. Much growth is witnessed. Universities have grown from 20 to 993. Colleges have grown from 500 to 40,000. The enrollment has also grown from 1 lakh to 3.7 crores in 2019, out of which 49% constitute female. About 79.8% enrolled in undergraduate courses, out of which maximum are in BA program, that is 39.5% of total students. There is skewed distribution of students at different layers of higher education in different streams and courses. But believe me, and we have the data that proves that research still lags behind. Out of the total 187 different programs, 10 programs command almost the entire enrollment in the sector, with arts the most chosen stream, followed by science, commerce, and engineering and technology. About 41,000 students were awarded PhD degrees in 2018. About 47,427 international students from 104 countries are studying in India. The total number of teachers is 14,16,299. That leads to the people-teacher ratio in universities and colleges to 29. Whereas in USA, it is 12.5 and in China, 19.5, whereas Brazil accounts for 19. Gross enrollment ratio of India in higher education sector is only 26.3%, that is quite low as compared to developed and developing countries. 54.6% in developed countries, whereas world average is 36%. GER, that is gross enrollment ratio, is also showing a great degree of inequity. The gender parity index for higher education in India shows disparity in favor of males. EER, that is eligible enrollment rate for India, is about 60%. EER is certainly basic for GER. One unique feature of EER is that shows more equity and less disparity. Growing transformation and paradigm shifts in the need, pattern, size, and structure of our education system in India is also there. It means the need, pattern, size, and structure of our education system has gone a growing and dynamic transformation. There is a skewed distribution of colleges in the country also. The college density or density of colleges varies from 7 in Bihar, 53 in Karnataka, and to 59 in Telangana, as compared to all India average of 28. Urban and rural and regional disparities are certainly there. The Indian higher education has seen three phases of funding: philanthropic to public and then to private financing. This changing financing patterns have altered regulation, equity, efficiency, and quality aspects of higher education. So they have a bearing on all this. Rapid growth of our education sector has significantly influenced the Human Development Index. From socio-economic perspectives, the HDIA has also been influenced by the higher education sector. The 70% to 90% of the graduates of various streams of the Indian higher education institutions are unemployable, though employability is not the only criteria of performance of higher education institutions. Ladies and gentlemen, now we come to the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of the Indian higher education system. which highlights the capabilities, compulsions, contradictions, challenges, dilemmas, and disparities, which all have a bearing on the system. So firstly, we have the religious liberalism and fundamentalism. This is a very important factor because some institutions are guided by these types of ideologies. There are layers of education: school education, higher education. The access, equity, and quality of education, these are the three basic foundations of higher education system. Gender perceptions are also dominating. Socio-economic parameters are also having some influence. The political compulsions and ideologies, social, physical, and value framework, geographical and ecological processes, employability of workforce are other factors which have influence on higher education. The relevance of educational provisions, the paradigm shifts in psychological and behavioral parameters, the quality of educational delivery system, the dismal scenario of teacher education, the mushrooming growth of profit-oriented institutions, the commercialization of education industry, the non-transparent system, infrastructures, policies, growing compulsions for education and accomplishments. Higher education institutions are also lagging in international rankings. The school education as baseline for higher education has not been seamlessly integrated with higher education. And moreover, the higher education institutions assessed and accredited by NAC are still very less in numbers. The quality education. Now we deal with the concept and the meaning. OECD defined quality education like the one that assured the acquisition of knowledge, capacity, skills, and the necessary attitude by all youngsters in order to get prepared to adulthood. It means the four elements are the basic parameters of quality education, that is, knowledge, capacity, skills, and the necessary attitude. The quality in higher education is multidimensional, multi-level, and dynamic concept. And this concept of quality may have different meaning for different persons depending on the time and environment. The quality education further is having so many dimensions. Firstly, quality as exceptional, quality as consistency, quality as fitness for purpose, quality as value for money, the quality as transformative. So it can be, so for some, it must be having some high standards, unusual, special, out of ordinary courses. For some, it must have zero defects. For some, it must be fitting the stakeholder specifications and providing them fulfillment and satisfaction. For others, it must be efficient, effective, and performing well, and with low cost and high return. And for some, it must be the ongoing process for empowerment and enhancement of customer satisfaction. The quality education further generates capabilities to be economically productive, develops sustainable livelihoods for life, capacity development to improve quality of teachers and other education stakeholders, contributes to peaceful and democratic societies, contribution to national development and social justice, excellence in academic and non-academic achievement, fostering global competencies among students, and for promoting quality education. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we have three fundamental areas of action. One is quality teaching, secondly, quality learning, and thirdly, quality evaluation. And all the three, as we know, quality teaching, quality learning, and quality evaluation, all the three working together develop what is known as quality institutions. The quality teachers, because they are the human resources, their quantity, the number, or their quality or the capabilities are important. So to deal with this, there are three ingredients of quality of human resources. Firstly, commitment. Secondly, competence. And third is performance. And when we see these three elements, uh, first one, the commitment. Now, in relation to the teachers or in relation to the quality teaching, the five areas of commitment must be there. Firstly, your commitment towards learners, your commitment towards the society, your commitment towards profession, towards excellence, and towards basic human values. And this commitment further leads us to competence, and there are 9 dimensions of competence. Firstly, we are able to work in teams. We participate in curriculum and organizational development. We use new technologies. We manage the student learning progression, organizing student learning opportunities, developing student commitment to working and learning, promoting parents and community commitment to institutions, tackling professional duties and ethical dilemmas, managing own self-professional development and progression. Further, the third element of performance, it has 8 key parameters. Firstly, planning, guiding, teaching, evaluation, examination, management, human relations, professional development, and extension and social services. Now, all the 8 areas taken together are the basic parameters of the performance. Now, coming to the second one, the quality learning. Now, there are many determinants of quality learning because learning, we under the learning, we deal with the students, we deal with the learners. So, the determinants are firstly the psychological and behavioral attitudes. Secondly, social and family values. Then, socio-economic environment, availability and affordability of educational facilities, aspirations, expectations, and urge to accomplish, quality institutions and quality teachers, time frame and level of educational attainment, choice of courses and flexibility of curricula, degree and pattern of family pressures, social, economic, and emotional relevance, access, equity, and quality of school education. Then this quality learning, according to UNESCO, has four fundamentals. Firstly, learning to know. Secondly, learning to do. Then learning to live together. And lastly, learning to be. So to know, to do, to live together, to be. These four pillars must be found in the education quality improvement policy since they cover human beings as a whole. So learning must also enhance commitment, competence, and performance of learners. Then we come to the quality evaluation. UGC's quality mandate emphasizes that higher education must focus on skills, outcome, and not just marks. So we should not emphasize only marks, rather we should emphasize skills and outcomes. So promoting quality in higher education in India through various reforms means improving quality of teachers, imparting life skills to students, and changing the assessment pattern. Quality evaluation further leads us to see the launching of many schemes. So firstly, measuring the learning outcomes, engaging with alumni, improving research quality, and adoption of information technology. So there is a need for change in the current rigid evaluation system. There must be focus on learning to a more outcome-based system. There must be a need for remodeling of the assessment system by higher education systems to make them aptitude-based. Now, this outcome-based education is very important because ensuring evaluation system to be more student-oriented than examination-oriented. So emphasis should be shifting from the examinations to the student as a whole. And this outcome-based education is an important alternative for higher education institutions, which require earliest possible implementation. So OBE must be implemented at the earliest possible for quality improvements in teaching, learning, and evaluation. Under the OBE, that is outcome-based education, each student is expected to achieve a particular goal by the end of the academic period. Demonstration of learning outcomes, that is knowledge, skills, and attitude. Establish clear mission statements and program educational objectives, that is PEOs, explaining expected achievements after graduation, that is 3 to 5 years usually. Now, the three things, quality, teaching, learning, and evaluation, lead us to quality institutions. Now, the quality institutions, when we talk about the quality institutions, we say that there must be consistent, harmonious, and sustained improvement of various components and satisfaction of all stakeholders by higher education institutions. They must have the improvement in teacher competence, improve teacher performance, improve student learning experience, improve student learning outcome, improve students participation, improve curricula and its characteristics, create conducive ambience for all stakeholders, and strengthen socio-cultural bondings and relevance. For all this, that is when we are talking about the quality in higher education, in teaching, learning, and evaluation, there is a body that is NAC, that is National Assessment Accreditation Council, which is dealing with the assessment and accreditation, that is established in 1994, and with the motto of excellent credibility and relevance. Because whatever we provide, that must be excellent. Whatever we have gained, that must have some credibility, and whatever we are gaining or getting from the higher education institution, that must be relevance to the socio-economic needs of the economy. Now, as on 29th of October 2020, the number of accredited institutions by NAC is a total of 13,411, and the highest grade, that is A, has been achieved by 1905 institutions. Now, when we analyze this data or these figures, we know that up to May 5, 2020, after almost 26 years of establishment and working of NAG, what are the results? What is the situation, or what is the scenario? So there is non-participation of 22% of higher education institutions in the accreditation process due to fear of poor grades. 26% of higher education institutions don't apply for NAAC's accreditation because they lack permanent faculty, and even 5.5% are not having permanent heads of the institutions. So 72% of higher education institutions are currently in the process of improving their quality and resources so that they can apply for NAAC accreditation. Under the revised accreditation framework 2017 of NAAC that was implemented in 2018, 74 universities and 1,485 colleges have been accredited so far. 600 universities and 25,000 colleges are still unaccredited. This is very worrisome. Accreditation has been made mandatory by government but not enforced fully. And NAC is planning to increase annual accreditation number of higher education institutions from present 1,500 to 2,500. Most of the non-accredited institutions are government or rural area higher education institutions, and this is the new thrust area for NAC. Less than 1% colleges got top grade, that is A++, while 66.4% colleges got grade between B++ and B. 6.5% universities got A++ grade under RF, while 51.4% were graded between B++ and B. Under the RAF, now the accreditation process is 70% objective and 30% is subjective. With more use of technology, 100% objective accreditation process is the expectation by the NAC in the near future. Now, under the NAC, all the accredited institutions are told to establish internal quality assurance cell because they believe that internal strengths or internal quality improvements are crucial for the quality or promotion of quality in teaching, learning, and evaluation. So internal quality assurance cell is a very important institution-based institution or agency that is a post-accreditation quality sustenance measure to ensure timely, efficient, progressive performance of academic, administrative, and financial tasks, relevance and quality of academic and research programs, equitable access to and affordability of academic programs for various sections of the society, optimization and integration of modern methods of teaching and learning, credibility of evaluation procedures, adequacy, maintenance and functioning of support structure and services, research sharing and networking with other institutions. Now, IQAC can have the implementation of certain approaches. devising perspective and prospective plans, and having institutional development plans, that is IDP. And these plans include academic plan, infrastructure development plan, student development and welfare plan, faculty improvement plan, social linkages plan, dissemination and sharing of information plan, evaluation plan, future action plan. There is a 8-way system of feedback which every IQAC should develop and adopt for promotion of quality in institutions. Firstly, students feedback, then teachers self-evaluation and feedback, then eliminary reports and newsletters and feedbacks, then PTA observations and reports, annual report of the principal, director of the institution, social, community and media public analysis and reports, government, UGC, NAC, university, social agencies, rating and reports, annual quality assurance reports of the institutions submitted to NAC. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is a very unique combination of three stakeholders, that is parents, teachers, and students, which are known as PTS TROA. And this has a very active role to play in the promotion of quality in teaching, learning, and evaluation. Firstly, what can be done by this? There must be proactive and coordinated role of PTS TROA. PTS can work collectively with best result in institutions on as-is, where-is basis. IQAC can develop a realistic and conducive support system involving all stakeholders, especially devised student charter, supplemented and strengthened by a comprehensive teachers charter, main forces leading to march from qualitative infancy towards qualitative maturity. So PTS trial can work wonders. UGC's quality mandate for higher education institutions of India. This is the mandate that is to be implemented by 2022 by the UGC, and the objectives are improvement in students' outcome. At least 50% pass outs get access to employment in whatever way or whatever form of employment can be. And then encouraging social and industry linkage is correct, improving students' professional and life skills. Maximum availability of teaching faculty must be there in the higher education institutions with not more than 10% vacancies. And all the 100% teachers must be trained. And the NAC accreditation for every higher education institution by 2022 with a minimum score of 2.5. So this quality mandate has also mentioned the values and ethics for quality higher education. And according to this mandate, these are the basic foundations of quality higher education. So there must be integration of ethics, human and constitutional values, and certain strategic elements must be given very much significance, that is integrity, participation, transparency, accountability, and competency. UGC quality mandate is having certain initiatives to be implemented. So first one is student induction program, that is Diksha Arambha, learning outcome based curriculum framework, upgradation and revision of curriculum at regular intervals. Then adoption of ICT based learning tools for effective teaching learning. Then imparting life skills to students, that is Jeevan Kaushal. Then social and industry connect, university social responsibility. Then evaluation reforms, continuous assessment and evaluation linking students' performance with learning outcome. Then tracking of student progression after completing courses. And here the alumni database is important. Then faculty development program, that is Guru Dakshata. Then impetus to quality research and new knowledge. Then mentoring of non-accredited institutions, that is accreditation of all by 2022. And for this Pramarsha, that is mentoring by highly accredited higher education institutions to motivate non-accredited higher education institutions. So UGC's quality mandate is further to develop certain life skills, and as per WHO, there are 10 core skills which can be developed or generated. These are self-awareness, empathy, critical thinking, creative thinking, decision-making, problem-solving, effective communication, interpersonal relationship, coping with stress, coping with the emotions. And Ladies and gentlemen, further, there is another important document, that is National Education Policy. This is the policy document, that is NEP 2020. This has certain very important elements to be implemented or to be adopted, moving towards a more holistic and multidisciplinary undergraduate education, then enabling faculty and institutional autonomy, then revamping of curriculum, pedagogy, assessment, and student support, then reaffirming the integrity of faculty positions and institutional leadership, then establishing a national research foundation, then enabling increased access, equity, and inclusion through a range of measures, including greater opportunities for outstanding public education, then providing all infrastructure and learning materials accessible and available to learners with disabilities, then ensuring governance by independent boards with autonomy, then ensuring a substantial increase in public investment in education by both the central government and all state governments, then enforcing light but tight regulation by a single regulator for higher education, moving towards a higher education system consisting of large multidisciplinary universities. Then basic principle of quality higher education, that is access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability must be given more importance, though quality has been ignored earlier. Establishment of Higher Education Commission of India for regulation, accreditation, funding, and academic standard setting. Then institution level independent board, setting up institutional development plans. Then three types of institutions based on difference in focus: research intensive universities, teaching intensive universities, degree granting autonomous colleges, keeping scope for upgradation from constituent to autonomous colleges, and from teaching universities to research universities. Ladies and gentlemen, in the last some months, almost in the last 1 year, we had the problem of pandemic, that is COVID-19, and we had adopted the online educational system that is considered as new normal. Now, this has given us certain challenges and certain problems and certain contributions or certain elements which are like this. Firstly, paradigm shifts in nature, pattern, and working of educational system in India due to COVID-19. There is a shift in everything. Emergence of new teaching, learning, and evaluation patterns. Compromises in access, equity, and quality. Challenges of coping with the requirements of online education. Absence of mentoring and patronizing the role of teachers. Loss of interest, quality, emotional integration, and seriousness. Pressures and negative repercussions of socio-economic inequalities, loss of jobs, improvements, relevance, emoluments for faculty, loss of infrastructure, finances, learners, mission, objectives for higher education institutions. So overall, the new normal has given us certain challenges and certain strengths also. Now, recently, some initiatives have been taken at the government or some agencies level. These are education, quality upgradation and inclusion program, revitalizing infrastructure and systems in education, UGC's learning outcome-based curriculum framework, graded autonomy to universities and colleges based on accreditation score, global initiative for academic network, All India Survey on Higher Education, National Institutional Ranking Framework, National Education Policy 2020, improving accreditation framework by NAC and other agencies, performance-linked funding and incentives, broadening the scope of massive open online courses, improving open and distance learning. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a certain concluding observations to make after all this analysis. Firstly, quality thinking and generation of quality consciousness with change in attitudes, mindset, and behaviors of all the stakeholders. So there must be a change in quality thinking and quality consciousness. Then creation and development of a conducive and favorable internal and external environment. Then development and strengthening of inter-institutional linkages and social industry connect. Training, motivation, and skill formation of qualitative leaders and workforce in institutions. Generation of healthy practices and moving on to best practice and further to next best practices and so on. Then increase in participation index of principals, faculty, students, parents, alumni, etc. in qualitative pursuit. It means all stakeholders must be involved. Effective and relevant use of ICT-based mode. Development of a system of teachers' self-evaluation and progress. Then correction of shortages syndrome in institutions, faculty, equipment, facilities, finances, support system must be upgraded. Then serious implementation of student support and progression activities for optimum use of infrastructure and human resources. Then implementation of government policies and guidelines religiously. Ladies and gentlemen, uh, we have come to know the very important point, the very important aspect that quality is not an accident but a design. It is not a destination but a journey. So it is not by accident that we get quality. We are to work for that. We are to plan for that. We are to strengthen our institutions for that. We are to involve all the stakeholders, all the social leaders to have a proper design, to have a proper plan. And it is not a destination, but a journey. When we reach somewhere, it is not the end there. We must continue our journey. We must sustain our efforts. We must continue the same pattern of the qualitative journey. So we all must be an integral part of this designed journey. I acknowledge the publication and reports of UGC, MHRD, NAG, ISHE, media reports, ranking agencies, and others. Thanks to all. So, ladies and gentlemen, I conclude this presentation with one quote: "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step." And for that journey of 1,000 miles, we need a one small step. Thank you very much. Thanks all. And thank you, the organizers. Thanks for the college, APA College for Women, Palani. And thanks for the internal quality assurance cell. Thank you very much all.